Welcome to this introduction to Club Manager by BMABA. In this very short tutorial, we're going to work through activating the plugin and putting some of the basic functionality into place. There's only two things I've done already on the screen here. One is I've logged into the licensing portal for the software. And number two up here, I have a generic WordPress website. This isn't one of the WordPress by BMABA websites, but it works effectively the same. So first things first, let's take the plugin. In the portal here, go to Downloads and take the last released or the most recent plugin download. So this would be this one here, and you download the plugin. Once you've got that, back in your WordPress website, let's go to Plugins and Add New. And you're going to literally upload here up the top the plugin and install. Now I've done this already. If you're using WordPress by BMABA, it's already pre-installed for you. Here it is. I'm going to activate, and you'll note Club Manager has now shown up on the left-hand side. Now, if you're using this for the first time, the first thing to do is verify your license. Now, as I said, I've already activated the license here, but if you've just installed it for the first time, you go back to the portal, go to your orders. Once the status is approved, under the key button here, you'll have the ability to copy and paste in your license number, which just pops in here and updates, and it'll change from not active to activated. And at that point, you'll see admin dashboard showing on the top, and you're ready to go. Now, important to note that the only other plugin required to make Club Manager work is WooCommerce. I already have this activated here as well, but it can be downloaded from here if not. And we do have here tutorials, troubleshooting guides, and help and support. If you get stuck at all, please jump on these first. In the tutorials in particular, we provide step-by-step guides on most aspects of using the Club Manager, both at a very basic level and a more complex level. And we've built Club Manager as a plugin on WordPress because we believe in offering clubs total flexibility and control. Now, the setup using WordPress means you can make this plugin work for any club setup you need, from a very small casual club that wants to accept payments on the door in cash still, through to much larger gyms with multiple clubs, classes and locations who want to automate payments across the board. So we don't touch payments, that's handled from WooCommerce. So the only thing I want you to have done before looking at this tutorial, if you're going to try and copy the setup process, is go into WooCommerce, go to settings and set up the basic details, your country, address, etc. In particular on payments here, I'd like you as well to have a look at installing things like WooCommerce payments if you want to set Google Pay, Apple Pay, Visa card, American Express. And you can, with WooCommerce, install hundreds of other payment gateways via plugins, whether it's Sage Pay, direct debits, you name it, you can upload it. Now at the bottom here, just note that there are two recurring payments built into Club Manager. One is Stripe and one is PayPal. Now you can use any payment gateway of your choice, but if you're not using one of the bottom two built into Club Manager, you won't be able to have it automatically keep taking payments on a monthly, weekly or annual basis. That's not a problem. It's very easy to have still monthly, quarterly or annual plans and have your members pay and renew online using the Club Manager. It's not a problem. But if you want to have it a seamless automated process, you just need to connect your Stripe account here. Now for this, I'm going to actually change bank transfer to cash on the door to make it nice and easy for us. Just to make it straightforward when we come to do it. I'm going to save those changes there as well. There we go, just for the sake of a demonstration. But take the time to make sure the WooCommerce part, which is effectively the e-commerce part of your system, your website, is working as you'd like it to. Now something I strongly recommend you also do is open up an account or a view as your members would see looking at your website. So to do this, in most browsers, if you right click and open incognito or in private or however it's worded, you'll see your front end website and you'll note now that I'm not logged in as an administrator. And what I'm going to do throughout this tutorial is just move between this tab here and the tab we've got at the back with the administrator dashboard. I'm going to do that, flicking of altering tab, just to help you see the changes you make on the back end here and how that would look to your members here. Now from the get-go, the important thing to stress is Club Manager works seamlessly in the background of your current club website. So if you've taken some time building out a beautiful club website, you don't need to worry about Club Manager interfering with that or in any way altering the way your members use your site. It can continue in whatever format it is. This is a generic template, obviously, it's not set up properly. And what WooCommerce here has done is created a shop as well, where you might want to sell club bits and pieces, but let's focus on Club Manager for now. Under Club Manager settings, you have the first batch of options for you. Now that very top one, redirect homepage to login. Let's imagine you're using a Wix website or you have a domain somewhere else and you want to use this software exclusively for timetables, bookings and payments. Tick this box here and save. And now the website loses all functionality other than purely your Club Manager. Meaning now the website itself, if it's a blank website, you don't need to worry about any other content. The only functionality in which they'll come back to your main website will be for payment only, and it is now working purely as a Club Manager. But let's imagine we want a bit of flexibility to run a website in our own right with other content and this in the background. We're going to uncheck the box and save, and you'll see now that if I go back to the main website, rather than being redirected to the login page, I can see the full website itself. Another setting here is based on the speed of preference for attendance tracking. Would you rather log someone as present and only have to note the absences, or vice versa? So for speed, we're going to leave it on present by default, which means if they're booked onto the class, the software will assume, unless we tell it otherwise, they were present on the day. Another important term here is going to be registration terms. Now you can select any page in your website here, and this is important. I'll show you why. If I create a new page here, and I call it Assumption of Risk, and I was to copy and paste into this my assumption of risk and legal waiver and publish. And you can publish in any format you like, whether it's the classic editor, the Gutenberg editor, Elementor, whatever it might be. But if I've now published that page and I just refresh this page here, you'll note now that I have that page showing as registration terms. If I save that as my registration terms, and just for the demo, I take us back to that login page, what you'll notice now is suddenly, to register an account, they have to agree to the assumption of risk form. And it'll let you in just to see that assumption of risk form, whatever that content might be. Now that's great for making sure, as students and parents register with you, you're already getting those key forms, whatever it is you need, legal terms and conditions, club rules, assumption of risk, whatever it might be. Okay, let's uncheck this and open up the website again so we can see the full site. Okay, appearance on the next tab. This lets you change the appearance from Club Manager to your own preference. And you can select your own logo, you can change the name, and you can select whether you have the title, the logo, or both. You can also change the colour schemes for you on the administrator dashboard, and you can replicate these settings in any way you like for students too, if you want to have some differential. Now for today's demo, I'm going to have red for the admin backend, so you know when I'm looking at it as an administrator, and blue for the front end, but you can set as you wish. Another thing here we have is custom fields, so you can set in here whatever you like. So I'm just going to call it demo license. I'll make it a text field, demonstration, and I'm just going to save that for later. But this helps you customize the information you want on your student data. Okay. Now from here, what I'm going to do now is show you the admin dashboard and how easy it is to get set up. But I think perhaps, first of all, let's show you how users work. And I'm just going to redirect to homepage here for the sake of the demo to make sure when I'm flicking to the website, we're only seeing it from a user's perspective. Now there are effectively 3 ways you can take students into your system. If you're a new club, you might prefer to have them sign up themselves by creating an account and simply following the registration. Before you do that, on settings, general, just make sure you've ticked the box anyone can register for membership here. Save. And now as a new user, I can register an account. I have to agree to the terms, you'll see. It won't let me do it otherwise. And now it's going to have sent login credentials to that email address. So that user will be able to sign in following the email, thanking them for joining your club, and they can log in themselves. If you already have students, on the left hand side here you'll notice the user tab. Now we've built this specifically to make sure it's as flexible as it can possibly be, and that your website allows the existing user list to port in perfectly. Now, important to note here, we have two sets. We have all members or all users, and we have students. As people register, you notice I registered John Bloggs here, you'll notice the role has been set as student. Now what you may have, let's imagine someone is on your site already. Let's have a look. I'll put a dummy person together. Now let's imagine they're registered on the website already. You'll notice now they're here as a subscriber. This is the default state that WordPress sets. Now this person wouldn't be able to log in to the student dashboard, and they won't count towards your active student count in the license either. If you want to convert them to an instructor or a student, you can just change your role here to student. And you can do that en masse. You could change everybody at once. But for this one, we'll change Lucy to a student, and you'll see here, subscriber becomes student. At that point, Lucy can log in via the main website. Lucy can log in like you usually would from here as a user and access your dashboard. Now WordPress also has the opportunity for you to import students en masse from Excel, and in doing so create student accounts for all of them at one time. Separate plugins, there's plenty of them, will allow you to easily import from Excel. But for this demo, what I want to do is use one of these accounts here. So let's use Lucy, who was just a subscriber, but is now being set up as a student. I'm going to change the password to something very basic for the sake of logging in. And you can set the password for any of your students. If they get stuck, you can help them log in by resetting the password or sending them a reset link. And I'm going to log in as Lucy now. And I'd strongly recommend you do the same here. So you notice initially it's asking me to log in again, just because I just reset the password. But if I just pop the password back in again, in I go. Here we go. So I'm now logged in as Lucy here. This is Lucy's student account. It's the blue color we set on the dashboard a moment ago. Now let's go in and keep this tab open so you can experience it as a student before you let anyone on your website. And we strongly recommend you do this. Make sure you test it yourself so you know how it looks, how it feels, and how it works. So the first thing you might want to do is create a membership. Now you'll see there's one here already I've created earlier. But let's do a new one, shall we? So under WooCommerce, you have your orders, but we're going to go down to products. The first thing to do is change your attributes. Now attributes are effectively customizations within the order itself. And you can see here, I've created one called duration. And I've set the terms 1 month, 12 months, 3 months, and 6 months. This is purely me stipulating how many months I want that membership to show for. 1 month. Now if I add a new product and I call it VIP membership, I can set a product image if I wish, change it to a variable product, and under the attributes we have here saved, we'll have our duration. Now I might want to make it available for 1 month's membership so they can pay 1 month at a time. I might want to make it valid for 12 months. Let's keep it simple and have them pay on a monthly basis. Save that attribute there. Under the variations tab now, we create the variations. This is standard WooCommerce functionality. And here we are. Click in. And I'm simply going to make it a virtual product and set a price. Let's make it $39.99. Save changes. And the very last thing to do here is on advanced, just check it's a membership package. If I publish and I revert back to the screen as a student and refresh, you'll now see we have this VIP membership, and this is how you can structure your membership plans. If you want to customize it, you pop an image on, access to all classes at any time. Update, and if I look at it as a student would, you'll now start to see how you can build this to look a little more visually appealing. Now as a student, if I was to click into one of these, let's imagine I want to be a monthly membership. I go to the checkout page. I was leaning back on your WordPress website just for the checkout process. Here I can put in some details. Let's put a dummy order in, shall we? Put the office address in. A random number. And here's the membership. Here's the payment types we've set up in WooCommerce. So this is the presumption of cash on the door, but it can be whatever you like. I'm going to place that order. I'll now get my order confirmation as a student with the receipt and any other functionality you've built into it, like confirmation emails, for example. And when I get back to my membership now, I'll start to see on my dashboard, pending approval, the monthly membership and the billing dates. Now, if I've integrated payment from something like Stripe or PayPal or any other payment gateway, this is automated. It knows payment's been received. The reason it's pending is because I've used cash on the door, so presumably I can't check that's been paid. So, as an instructor, WooCommerce keeps all your orders in a tab here for you to easily see who's placed orders and what those orders are for. Now on this basis, this is obviously a BACS transfer, or we're presuming it's cash on the door, but when you're ready, mark it complete. And this will start to reflect now in terms of your record keeping, but now let's go into the admin dashboard and have some fun. So up the top here we have admin dashboard. Clicking this takes us to the red section. Now again, you can customize the branding, but we're going to stick to the red section. On our student list here first, you'll see the students who are starting to sign up. Now we have here Lucy Blogs, who's just placed an order. Now, because it's a manual order, we have to manually approve it, but if it's an automated payment, we don't have to do that. It's done for us. And we can see payments here as well. So if we want to go in and see what's been paid, obviously there's no credit card details there, so we can't see automated payments. But if they're paid with Stripe or PayPal, for example, we'd see that. Let's edit, and let's assume we're happy to let them into the class. They're going to pay on the door. Flicking back to the student profile here and refreshing, the student now sees their profile update accordingly to active. And that helps them see where they are as well. Now again, payments would show here for the student if they were paying with a transaction that wasn't cash on the door or BACS, but we're assuming for the ease of this demonstration that we're going to manually handle the money. We obviously recommend using one of the online payments. It's one of the big reasons for using the software. Now let's look at classes. Imagine Lucy wants to book onto a class. Here are some demonstration classes I've set up previously, and you'll find these under the classes tab. Now let's just remove this for the sake of us having a demo. I'm going to just remove what's been put on the system before and start again. With a blank slate as you'll have it. So here now under classes there's nothing to show. So let's very quickly, and it takes no more than 60 seconds if you're flying through it to set this up. The first thing we need to do as an instructor is set the locations we're teaching at. Create location. You can set as many as you like. Let's call it Midhurst College. This is the venue you're going to be teaching from. This will help people find it as well, especially if you're doing events. Let's create two. For the sake of the demo, we'll create another address. Let's call it our gym. Okay. And then we do the same again, set up the addresses, which doesn't take long. And now we have our location saved. Now next, before you create the classes, we want to create the styles associated with it. So let's go to grades and let's create two styles. Let's imagine we're teaching Shotokan Karate and self-defense. So we'll start with Shotokan Karate. And let's start with the first grade. Let's say we want to start at 9th Q, and let's assume that's going to be orange. Now to get to that, we're going to say this is the starting rank. In fact, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go for 10th Q, white belt. That's a starting rank. So on your first session, you become a 10th Q. Then we're going to add the next rank. It's going to be 9th Q, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to do the full belt range, but let's do a couple. And let's say we need 12 classes to be ready to grade for 9th Q. 8th Q, let's do the same again. Another 12 classes. And 7th Q. Another 12 classes. And create the grades. And you can obviously set anything you like in terms of the combination, the attendance count. Let's do self-defense now without a set grade. So self-defense, we're going to have Level 1 is where we start. 1 lesson. You're going to put something, you can't put 0, it has to be 1, assuming the first lesson in which they get it. Level 2, let's put that blue, 25, and level 3, let's make that green, and assume you're never 25, be 35. Now we have our 2 grades, and the system knows that Shotokan Karate and self-defense are taught, and it knows in which order we progress. So let's create the classes. Create class. We can choose between a regular class or a one-time event such as gradings or competitions, but let's assume this is going to be children's karate. Fun and engaging class for anyone under the age of 18. This is a brief description. You might want to put the instructor's name in, you don't have to, it's optional, but it's nice to have it in there. Capacity. I can take up to 16 children in this class, you can set that yourself, of course. What location is it on? Midhurst College or the gym? Let's say it's at the college. And attendee type. Are we taking kids only, adults, or all? And it's going to run the student's date of birth to find that information from us. So let's assume it's kids only, because it's a kids class. We wanted to show in the diary between the 24th of October 2023 and let's just do a year in advance. You can set anything you like, it's just how far in advance could they in theory book onto the class. And let's say we run Monday, Wednesday and Friday between the times of 6 and 7:30. And this is available to monthly membership and VIP members. And we're looking here at Shotokan Karate grade structure because it's a Shotokan Karate class. On the diary, the schedule, let's make this a green and create the class. Now if I switch back to the student view and refresh classes, you'd now see children's karate showing up. I can do a week by week schedule and see where it sits in the diary this way. I can do a day by day and see there's nothing today. If I switch to tomorrow, you'll see it in the diary for Wednesday. Or we can do a list view and just see what's coming up on an itemized view. Now we're going to book on in a moment, but if I just click in, you'll see that's preview. And can you see here, because we've got children, it's asking for a date of birth to join the class because it knows this is for children only, so you can't just book onto it. And we'll come to that in just a moment. Now the next class is going to be self-defense. Let's make another one. It's a regular class, self-defense for all the family. I'm going to skip the optional name. Capacity you can leave blank, but let's assume we can take 20 in this class. This is going to be at the gym and it's open to adults and children, so all. And we're going to do the same again. We're going to assume it's on for at least a year of bookings, but you can set whatever you like. And this is going to run Sunday, Wednesday and Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock, finishing at 9 o'clock. Now we want just VIP members on this because we're going to have a differential in the pricing. It's not Shotokan anymore, it's a self-defense. And for the visual of the calendar, let's make this that colour there. I'm going to save the class, and there we go. There's my class schedule. If I refresh as a student, you'll now start to see those different classes taking place. Now I'm not registered as a VIP member, so you'll see here I can't register, the class is not available for your membership. If I was to change as an instructor this class to be available for monthly members and update, and refresh, you'll notice now I can join the class. So I've now joined the class, and as a student I go to my join classes and I can see that class is there. I can see when it starts, the time, the location and everything else I need to make an attendance here, and it shows here my grade at this time, what I need for the next grade, when I last graded and all the basic details I need. And on my dashboard as a student I'll start to now see my upcoming classes. It knows we're looking at self-defense, it knows what's coming up. You see my grade down here for self-defense, so I can start to see where I am. As an instructor, if we now pop to the attendance tab and we look at self-defense, we'll notice that Lucy Williams is now showing up for attendance. Now she hasn't attended yet, so there isn't an ability to mark attendance yes or no, but it knows who's coming to each class and it helps you plan in advance lesson content and members based on who's booked onto the class. Now let's go as a student here and look at the settings. Now let's imagine I set a date of birth as a child. So I'm doing this on behalf of my child. She's born on the 1st of the 1st, 2019, for example. Save and update. As a parent, or if this was myself for my own student, I can change billing details, medical information, this is me as a parent or a student setting medical information here. You see there's no license date for student insurance because it's not used at this point. It can only be changed by the club. Parental information, as a parent I might want to put in my details there, so father blogs for example, and update my information. It's obviously asking for this stuff. I'm not going to bother for the sake of, that's just a quick demonstration actually for the sake of doing it here. Let's see if that's a save there. Notice here it's forcing you to do these things because we want to have ring fence information so you know as an instructor you've got all the details you need. And under miscellaneous here, here's that demo license. There's a custom field we created at the start. And the student can put anything they like in there, as well as notes for the instructor if there's anything they need to mention there as well. Now as an instructor, if I go to my student dashboard now, and I'm looking at Lucy blogs, now you can see Lucy's registered as a monthly membership. She's billing at 1 month, which means she's paying month to month, all active. I can see join classes for Lucy here. I can see she's booked onto self-defense and when. In the classes count, I can also start to see self-defense has 19 spots remaining because one of the 20 has been joined by Lucy blogs. If I go into the student count now and I edit the account, so I go in to see as a student, you'll notice now I can start to see under the profile all the information Lucy or Lucy's parents have provided, including medical information, parental information, and any miscellaneous information, including our custom box. Now let's imagine we do set a student license date, so we're insuring, let's imagine in this case with BMABA for our student insurance. You can use anyone you like. Now save that. As a student or parent now, I can see that student information. I can't edit it, but I know there's a student license in place, so the student knows when the license is due, and you as a club can see when that license is due as well. Now crucially, if I go back to classes, now I've set a date of birth. Now notice that I can book on to the children's class because I'm a child. The user is classed as a child. I've now booked on to the children's karate. Now if I go back to students again, and attendance for example, let's look at children's karate. Notice now it's marked as a child, a kid, because it knows from my date of birth that I'm under the age of 18. So even on the self-defense tab, I'm now shown as a child, which helps you when you're planning a safeguarding to see across the entire spectrum of your class who's an adult, 18 plus, which would be a green tab with adult there, and who's a child, red tab for child, for kid. So you can see exactly where you are. And this functionality is expansive. You can do it in any way you like. You can set those schedules to run in any way you wish. And you can moderate access based on memberships or anything else. We go and look at grades as well. And obviously at the moment, Lucy Blogs hasn't come into this, but if I click on View Students, Lucy Williams here has attended 0 of 1 classes to progress. Let's imagine that's been done, and I can promote her to 8th Q. And this may well be because actually I'm bringing Lucy into the system. We were using a prior system before Club Manager by BMABA. She's already in 8th Q. And I can share that. And you'll notice now that she's no longer in the 10th queue, she's shown in the 8th queue. And it's gone back to establishing 12 classes required. And let's imagine she was already 3 of 12 in when we moved software. Let's decrease to 9 for this one. And suddenly, in terms of your setup, making sure you're ready to go, there's only 9 sessions required in attendance before she's ready to grade to 7th queue. And as always, if I go back to the dashboard, I can always see my grades here. So notice now I'm an 8th queue, and I can see the classes that come with that, so I can see where I am. If I go on my join classes, for example, children's karate, I can see an 8th queue, and I have 9 sessions required before I'm eligible for grading next time. And currently, because we've just signed up, I have 0 count towards that. Obviously, if I've done 3 sessions, it shows 3 towards 9. And as an instructor, you'll see this bar fill up and tell you 3 of 9 is ready. That allows you then to do things like promote the student if you wish, or alter the attendance. Maybe they need to do a bit more training, maybe they need slightly less. Then we have notices as a club. And you have the ability to set 2 types of notice. You can create a notice to all students, and send to everybody. And you can set a custom notice. So if I go to specific students, you can select one or more. So let's imagine Lucy in this case. Don't forget your gum shield this week. And send the notice. Now, as a student, on my dashboard, I'll see these notices here. They're clear for me to see. And I can view all notices here as well and see them there. And they can't be removed only by you as a club, so you can't run the risk of someone dismissing them and not paying attention. Worth noticing as well up here, you'll get your notifications come in for you when somebody registers on your system, and when things like, for example, students are ready to grade. You'll have a little notification up here to let you know. And on this dashboard, you'll see here as well, when Lucy Williams is ready to grade, you'll notice here she'll show up as ready to progress. So we're looking here at what we've earned. Well, here's our 2 earnings from the 3 students who are registered. We can see here tracking. This is fed from WooCommerce, so as payments come in, you'll see it here in real time. Obviously, we've used a BACS or a cash, so it's not showing here, but if you're using debit or credit card, it shows up. And you can see your upcoming classes. Now, finally, we have down here contents, and this allows you to set specific members-only content. So let's create content here, and let's say this is a preview of your grading material. And in this field here, I can set whatever I wish for it to say. So this will be a full text article with links and a video as well. And you can obviously take the time to create this properly as you wish. The system is very flexible, it allows lots of flexibility. And I'm going to decide this is only available to my monthly membership. And if I add that content now, it can be changed and updated or deleted at any time. But as a student now, I can go into contents and I can see this. Of course, if I change this to just a VIP members, which could be a black belt or any other sort of membership you want to assign, VIP membership, and suddenly now I can't get into it. I can see it's there, but I can't get into it. So that's the basic run through of the club management software. The important thing to stress is throughout all this content and usability you've put into the system here, we visit the home page as a student and as an instructor. You'll notice now that if I go back to the website itself, the website itself is locked out. Can you notice this now? It's because I've set it to only allow access as we set it for students only. But if we're logged in as an administrator and we just uncheck that box, you'll now find as a student you can go back to the website itself and use it fully in whatever respect that might be. It might be shop, it might be content, and as an instructor I can very quickly in the menu section here add on the link for the student section. So for example, put the link in there. We can see where it is here as well. We want to go back in as a demo. We can find it here, student dashboards. Take that URL, pop it into the menu, and just put student dashboard. And this is a perfect way of bridging the back-end functionality with your current website. If you want to have the ability now, as a student on your website, to use your website in whatever way you've set it up to run, but always have that ability to go back into the student dashboard, student portal, and see everything relevant to the club. And they can control their access and log out at any point and still use, even when logged out, if you've got the setting on, they can use the entire website. And they can log in again when they're ready. So that's a run through of the key functionality of the plugin itself. Just remember that it doesn't alter or change the way your WordPress website works. It's your site, you're in control of payments, processes, settings, options, content entirely. It sits in the background there to work for you, but you can very easily shut it down and have it exclusively as a club management system.